every decision adds up. You make big and small decisions every day. Left turn or right turn, this conversation or that conversation, this book or that TV show. Everything is a choice that takes you closer to or farther away from where you decided you want to go. Everything in the universe is connected. Little things can shift the biggest moves. In scientific terms, this is called the butterfly effect. The idea is that a butterfly flapping its wings can have a ripple effect felt far beyond what you can see. It means tiny changes in big systems can have complex results. It's real. The butterfly effect is the idea that small things can have nonlinear impacts on a complex system. Dr. Rajagopal, micro-decisions are not as passive as you may think. They're important because of their ripple effect. With every decision you make, you vote. All your decisions vote you in specific directions. You want these votes to add up to taking you in your vision's direction. Everything you do has an impact, in small and large ways, on your game. Strategy empowers you to make the most of every decision and make them work for, not against, you. ROI on your choices. Run your life like a business, structure, goals, progress, profit, track. Is your life profitable? Are you attracted to the things you wanted? Is your body improving? Are you making more money? What are you willing to do for the life you want? Calculating future cost of decisions. When you make moves. Questions to ask yourself. When decision-making strategies allow you to plan and be intentional. When you know your character's vision and have step-by-step strategies in place, it's much easier to make choices that align with your target, where you are going, and who you are becoming. Strategies also help you avoid making choices based on not knowing what else to do. When faced with choices, having strategies makes your decision-making process easier. You're going to get good at using your strategies and standards to ask the right questions and make decisions in your game. When faced with decisions in your game, key questions you'll ask yourself over and over are: does this decision support my strategy? Does it support my standards? What other choice could I make instead? If I make this decision, where will it get me? Will this choice help or hinder my greater plan and direction? This is a logical way of making decisions in your game. While you should follow your heart and listen to your gut, you'll often find they are aligned with the answers to these questions. Asking these key questions is vital for understanding the value that choices are adding or subtracting from your game at any given time. What is worth your time? What am I willing to do for X? What am I willing to give up for X? Remember the exercise where you calculated how many Saturdays you had left in your life. You want to run all of your decisions through your why and your values. For example, when I was a realtor, I worked in Vancouver. However, I would often get calls for a city called Squamish that was just an hour away. Wow, that's an hour of driving away. So how I would decide if this was worth my time is, I would figure out what the total commission or amount would be. I would look at that number, and then I would ask myself the question: if the number was $30,000, how many times am I willing to drive to Squamish for $30,000? Instead of thinking, oh my, it's an hour away, I looked at it as an ROI on my possible return and what I would be willing to put in to get that. Analyzing your resources. Think about how you play a board game. Your character has resource cards or chips. For every move you make on the board, you think about how effectively you are using and managing your resources. When you get to the game's finish line, you want to have made good use of your resources. The more you practice viewing yourself as a character with resources, the more you'll start analyzing your resources before you make your moves. You'll soon ask yourself these kinds of questions for everything in your game. Calculating your resource management for all your moves becomes ingrained in your day-to-day thinking and becomes the backbone of almost all your life decisions. Cost-benefit analysis for making decisions. You can apply a cost-benefit structure to making decisions. It involves doing the following. Take inventory of where your character is in your game. Record and analyze your current resources. If you made a decision, hit the fast-forward button for 1 year, 2 years, and envision where your character would be in your game. What resources would you have then? Fast forward the same length of time and imagine your character did not make the same decision. Where would you be in your game? And what resources would you have? You can apply these questions to a wide range of scenarios. You can also adjust the number of years you are looking at for impact based on a decision's type and magnitude. For example, you can apply it to your week if you are worried a decision might affect a short-term goal. Or you can find out the cost of going over to a friend's dinner party versus staying home to work on a project tonight. An example of a longer-term question would be the cost of quitting your job to study a new program. For this, you may skip ahead 5 years to calculate the decision's cost-benefit. Based on your answers, you'll clearly see whether your decision benefits your character. This process also lets you balance the current cost of making your decision against where you will be later in your game as a result of your decision. When you evaluate decisions in this way, you sometimes find the cost of not making a decision is much greater than the resource cost required to execute the decision. This process is a great way of putting decisions into perspective and aligning them with your game's direction. If you enjoyed this topic and you want to learn more, sign up for the How to Play video course. Link in bio.